Chris Level here with another edition of Pirate Talk. Colton Coons taking care of us behind the camera. Special guest today. I'm going to call him Dr. Mike Moffitt. I'm going to call him Coach Mike Moffitt. I'm just going to call him, Mike. I mean, whatever. He's going to say yes to all these different titles, and But he is the new volleyball coach at Lubbock Cooper High School. We're thrilled to have him here. Doctor, we're going to start there. Yes.
Well, thanks. I appreciate
people, and that's real.
I appreciate it.
But take me through. You have a variety of degrees.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, so take me through that, Dr. Mike Moffitt.
Sure. So I mean, I'll take it all the way back. Working for my dad here. My dad's furniture salesman for a long time, and
on 50th Street.
Right on 50th Street, right there, over by Monterey, and so I grew up working for him and working in the warehouse and hauling furniture and moving boxes, no air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. And, if I might have been a little complainy one day, and he's like, hey, if you don't like it, you better stay in school. I said, yes, sir. So I haven't quit since. So yeah, I did a bachelor's degree, exercise science and Spanish at Tech. And then thought I wanted to go into the AD side, which is still young enough, could do that eventually maybe. But got a master's at Tech in sports management. Took a little while off, coached college level. Came back and they started pushing me into admin, so went and got a master's in ed leadership at LCU, and then it was one of those things you're like, man, I'm really loving this. It's great. If you want to go to the superintendent side long term, like, hey, get that doctorate. So I went back, got my doctorate in ed leadership at Tech, and so I still do that on the side. I work with WT as their practicum principal field supervisor, so I get to see people that want to be principals someday, leading faculty meetings and stuff like that, and I kind of critique them and help them through that process and make sure they can pass their test and
very nice.
That kind of stuff. So I still keep my hand in academia on that side. But
okay.
Yeah, that's how it came to be.
Doctor.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. And you kind of hinted at it there. People are, you come here from Amarillo. You've been there for like the last 5 years in Amarillo High, done a phenomenal job with the Sandies and all those things. But you have a lot of ties in Lubbock.
Oh, absolutely.
And your kids were, students at Cooper West.
Yes.
Way back in the
way
day?
back when.
Okay,
yes.
So you have ties to Lubbock and Cooper.
Absolutely.
Going back, your wife went to Lubbock High.
Yep.
Yes. So anyway, all kinds of ties to Lubbock, Texas. Take us back through that part.
Going through, like, we're Lubbock kids, like I said. My dad's been over at W. Wilkins for 35, 40 years almost. So we're from here. My wife and I both went to Lubbock High. I was a terrible basketball player. She was an all-world swimmer. Her name's all over that natatorium for Lubbock ISD, and she was one of those first kids that was pushing their teams at Lubbock High to go to state, and she's
really
now
good.
they're rolling.
Yeah,
they've just gotten better and better. So she was in that first wave of really good swimmers out of there. She went and swam at University of Houston. So the athleticism on my kids comes from her. Yeah. So go Cougs. So yeah, that's been the case. But for my family and my kids, like when we were coaching at Tech, that was the big deal. Was like, hey, we're going to build a house. We're going to plant roots. We're going to do all these things. Like, where do we want to be? Boom, we built right across the street from Cooper West. That's where we wanted to be. The admins there were great. The kids were great. We're coming back around. A few of those girls are still around and the same age as Bird, and so she's going to fit right back in with some of those Cooper kids, and we're excited. It's been great.
And again, so ties to Cooper. You mentioned Texas Tech there. You actually have some degrees there, but you also were an assistant coach.
Yeah, absolutely. So I on the men's side, and we'll probably talk a little bit about this with my son, but on the men's side, the money part is not there like it is with the women's at the college level. So men's volleyball is growing and growing, getting bigger and bigger. More programs have it. But they're going to kind of waive your out-of-state tuition and pat you on the back, and that's about it. It's going to be like baseball, track, like things like that. There's just not a ton of – it's all partials. Mm-hmm. So in that case, when I was coming up, the Tech head coach – so instead I was talking to some schools and trying to go somewhere, and it was just who knows what would have happened there, but financially it was never going to happen. But Jeff Nelson, the coach at Texas Tech at the time, knew who I was from adult leagues and things like that, and was like, hey, dude, I'll scholarship you right now if you stay, play on the men's club team, help run it, but then help us as a student assistant coach, get your foot in the door that way. So I did that for 4 years, and then I was the volleyball coach at All Saints for a year, and then got hired back on as an assistant coach at Tech and did that for, I want to say, 6 years.
Okay.
Something like that.
So a long time
for
on
sure,
the sidelines there at the USA. And part of what I want to talk about too is that you have relationships and ties with some of the people that are already kind of in place at coaching volleyball. One of which, Caroline Wood, who's
Yeah,
going to
of
work
course.
with you over at the high school. You coached her.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so it's like full circle.
No, it's the funniest thing, and that was my assistant coach at Emerald High was Aubrey Piper Coleman. And the first day I got there, we were kind of meeting each other. I didn't coach her at Tech, but she played at Tech. She's a four-year starter, did all the things, but she was right after I was there. And she came in with a piece of paper. It's like, print this out. It was an email from me. It was a recruiting email from me to Texas Tech. So then I get here, C-Dub, Caroline Wood now was Witt, but I get here and she pulls her phone out and she's like, boom, here's the first recruiting email from Mike Moffitt to go to Texas Tech. So yeah, we overlapped for a year. She was there my last year. She was there 2 years. She was a great lefty setter out of Blinn. We found her at the JUCO level, and she was fantastic for us at Tech. But we have a lot of overlap on strategies, and she knows my style and things like that. And we were talking about it probably just yesterday. But I was like, hey, you probably met me at one of the hardest times of my life. Like, the end of our Tech run wasn't the very best in the world. I was the top assistant. Head coach got let go, and they kind of said, hey, we're looking for a fresh start. Don't plan on being here. If you're going to look around for other opportunities, do it. And I was like, hey, sure, great. And my buddy had just gone up to North Dakota, so that's how we ended up at North Dakota. But, yeah, Caroline's fantastic. We've been in cahoots all week. It's been great.
Small world. And again, obviously with a second high school now in the district over at Lubbock Cooper Liberty, Caitlin Anderson, and this is also somebody that you and your wife Erin have known since Caitlin was knee-high to grasshopper.
For
that
sure.
whole thing, yeah,
for sure. She's one of our players. Erin and I coach together, and we have coached together for forever on the club side. And Caitlin's one of ours. Like, she's so talented. She was so good as a player. She played for us when she was little bitty. So she's probably playing with us when she was 11, 12, 13, and she was playing up a couple of divisions. So it was playing in 14 and unders and things like that. So that was always our first adopted child. We've got one more in Amarillo, and I'm only half joking, but our little undersized playing up setters, that's just who we gravitate towards. So Caitlin was our first one, and then we had our 3 biological kids, and then we got one more up in Amarillo that played a couple years for us playing up, and I think that we might be done. But if we go back to the 12 and under club side, we might find one more little undersized setter. But yeah, Caitlin's fantastic. So proud of her. We've been in contact the last couple of years trying to help her get that program off the ground, and man, they've done great, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. It's been everything over there is brand new, and everybody's trying to figure it out. I'm not sure what you're getting into, but they've done well, and yeah, you're a mentor to her for sure. You mentioned your biological kids. You've got a daughter, Jordan, who's at Lamar.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you've got 2 twins
Yes.
that are going to be. They're finishing up junior year, going to be seniors next year.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is a really good volleyball player. But kind of take us through your kids and all.
Yeah,
that.
Joe. So Jordan, we call her Joe. She's our eldest. She's a setter. She played for me at Emerald High. Broke their single season assist record her junior year, and then signed. And she's playing at Lamar.
Okay.
They've had a coaching change. They didn't have the world's best season record wise, but hey, she's at a D1. She's starting. She's high up in the conference in assists and getting to play. And she loves her new coach, and so that part's all rolling. She's done great. The twins, Bird and Jackson, they'll be here with us, obviously. Bird, great problem to have. I mean, she's the defensive player of the year from that district. So We'll have a few decent defensive players of the year here in the program. That's a great thing. They've both played kind of forever. Bird is probably, they're going to get mad at this, Bird's the most athletic one out of the 3. Honestly, she was the one that stayed in basketball and track the longest, and it was one of those things like she would have helped with track up there and could have stayed in the basketball program too. It was one of those like super athletic, does everything really, really competitive. Jackson, he's great at everything he touches. It's kind of annoying. If we go play golf, he's better than me. If we go bird hunt or fish or something, he's better than me. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what you want from your kids. But yeah, they both play club. They both play. Obviously, Bird plays school ball, and Bird already knows where she's going. She's going to Texas Women's in Denton. Yep. So that's in that same Lone Star Conference with WT and LCU and some of them. So we were already excited. We're going to get to see her a few times there when they're in town for LCU or WT. That's an easy drive. Angelo State even, like there's some really close schools in that conference, and she just fell in love with that campus. Like she got there and the coaches are amazing, campus is amazing, so that's where she's headed. And then the boys recruiting goes slower, but Jackson's planning on playing somewhere unless Mom and I are kind of hoping and maybe he'll get a sweetheart offer like I did. Like, hey, take the money, man. Like, take the money and go to LSU or Texas or something like that. But we'll see what happens with him. But they'll both be here and be really helpful in the program.
So your decision to come here, a lot of that had to do with, because I'm thinking like, man, it'd be tough to move your twins their senior year. For sure. But you have a lot of family here. Yeah. And it just kind of made sense. The timing was right.
Absolutely.
And timing for coaching changes is always tricky, and sometimes it's perfect. Sometimes it's just not the right time. This was the right time for you guys. Take me through the conversations you had with your kids.
Woo.
Okay, guys, you ready?
It's
hard?
Tough, yeah.
Were they shocked? Like, are they like
kids?
They
they were definitely surprised that we would look at it because it's one of those things. And we know the prior coaches really well, and it was one of those things that we just had such a great situation up there. It's like, man, we're really not trying to look. But if Lubbock Cooper calls it, like, you have to talk to them. Like, this is such a great place to be. It's such an outstanding program, such an outstanding supportive community that we definitely had to talk about it. And then with the twins, Aaron and I both kind of framed it as, hey, y'all can stay here. You can stay in Amarillo. You can graduate, you can play, you can do all those things. Like, you're going to play against Dad, that's okay. Like, no big deal. Like, Bird was like, absolutely not. And Jackson was ready to go. Jackson was like, I'll pack today. I'm like, no, finish up. The credits are, like, get your junior credits out of the way, and we don't want to mess with any of that stuff. But, no, they're both excited, thrilled to be here, and they've got enough friends and family and relatives and all that kind of stuff here that they're excited. And it's great practice for your freshman year of college. You're like, oh, dang, you're uprooting them their senior year. Yes, but they're getting a preview of show up at a new place, but they'll have all that support system, and then go away to college, and now you're really the freshman.
Mike Moffitt's coaching style is what?
Man, loving. It's relational. Like, I love the game. Volleyball is the best part of my day every single day of my life, and I want the kids to feel that. Like, we talked about Caitlin and Caroline. Like, my people go into leadership positions. So when I was principal, my teachers go into the admin. Like, they go into being assistant principals and principals. When I'm coaching, my players go into coaching. Like, it's one of those things, like, the enthusiasm is contagious on that part of it. We're competitive. My goodness, we're competitive. If there's a scoreboard, like, I'm going to win. Like, no offense. Like, I love you. Like, if we were keeping score right now, I'm probably winning. But it's the relational piece, and I want all the kids and all the coaches to have the very best thing that they do that day be volleyball. Okay. And that's exactly how we approach it, and that's how it turns out. And we end up with a lot of lifers. We end up with kids that we go to these club tournaments, and you go to the coaches meeting, and you're like, 8 out of 16 of them are my kids. Like, you're like, oh yeah, and I've got handshakes with those kids going back 25 years that you see them, or you hit them on their wedding day, and you're hitting the handshake from high school, like that kind of stuff. So it's great. It's just the enthusiasm is there. Like, it's what we love to do.
From afar, and you've had your own success going on and everything, and Amarillo and Lubbock Cooper have nodded up in several recent years and all that. But you're from afar. Your vision of what Lubbock Cooper volleyball was what?
Well,
without being here on a daily basis.
Without being here on a daily basis, I think you've got to look at the district as a whole too, because what Caitlin's doing at Liberty is outstanding, and your first few waves when you make a change like that, I mean, there's a reason that's a storyline, the Friday Night Lights kind of thing. Like, you make a split like that, you're gonna have just changes. But looking at the district, you want both of those programs to be outstanding, and that's the thing that I talked about with Caitlin. Said, until your numbers push you into district with us, I don't want to play y'all, because we're one team, and we're gonna build up the Lubbock Cooper brand and continue to grow in the right direction with that. But for my program with the Lady Pirates, like, we want to keep going further, but also when kids get to graduation day, when kids are 10 years out at their reunion and looking back, again, I want them to hang their hat on the volleyball program. The volleyball program is going to be the coolest, most fun thing they did in high school. And so that's where we're headed, and that's definitely going to be how it turns out.
When you recently got to meet with the girls or a portion of what would be on your team, because some of them are in other sports and all those things, but you got about a week ago, and you don't have a lot of time with them, and
Right.
you're not talking to your whole team.
Sure.
You don't even know who's going to
Right,
technically
right.
be on your team. Your message to them was what?
Well, it's definitely show up and do the work and have good faith that we're going to put you in the right positions, that we have your best interest in heart. And then right now, being the spring, told them, hey, you're working on you as an individual. Like get the very best you can get, whether that's club. I don't care what program you're playing with. I don't care if you play club or not. But get with whatever you're going to do to make yourself better. Do it, improve, grow, make yourself the very best piece that you can be. And then in the summer and then in the fall, we put all those pieces together, and then we're awesome.
I wish you'd say that for the people in the back.
They're gonna get it in the parent letters.
But the club thing, you're kind of made to feel like if you don't play club and you're not going to Phoenix or Philadelphia or whatever and playing every weekend, that you're just not going to make our team. And I just I think it's important for you.
It's huge, and
not that you don't want to.
No, I know, absolutely, and I'm affiliated with a club, and it's one of the clubs I helped start, and that has been really high on the moral ethical standards and helping push the whole region, right? So I'm the junior rep on the board for Sun Country for the whole region. So I've got Midland, Lubbock, Amarillo, Abilene, and the whole state of New Mexico. So anytime there's like conflict, a coach is acting unethically, things like that comes across my desk as well on that side of it. And that's one of the biggest things that I try to push with everyone, with all the coaches, like let the kids play, let the kids improve and grow, but it can't just be a cash grab, because you see some of the clubs, and I'm not talking about people here, I'm talking about the whole state of New Mexico and all of West Texas in general, club youth sports in general, let's say, because baseball's this way too. You'll get in and they'll tell you how great you are, and that's fine, but then they'll also try to put you on the highest team possible, which is great. But as far as the travel goes, you probably don't need to do a ton of travel till 15, 16, 17s, because you're getting recruited in 17s, honestly. But if you want to go play different people and go to big tournaments, that's great. But then they'll hook you in for, now you need to go do these private lessons with these people, and now you need to do this, and now you need to do lessons with these people 3 times instead of 2 times. So just be aware of the financial side of it and who stands to make gains financially and things like that. But honestly, that's my message to the kids and to the parents is, get the very best coaching you can get. Whatever's going to work on your kid as an individual is great. I've heard a lot of the pro basketball players and coaches lamenting this right now too, is that there are too many games on the AAU side and no practices. So it's one of those things, like, you don't necessarily need a million games. You need individual reps, especially at the youth age, and then go from there. And then I am totally cool with multi-sport kids that don't play club. Like, if you're good enough and you're an athlete and you travel between these couple of sports and come on and you're going to help us, come on, let's go. Like, it's one of those things, but no, that it's going to be, you're going to have to be really good, but some of those more blessed athletes are really good and they can do it without playing club. So that's our job to coach them up anyway.
And you know this, but like volleyball is a sport that in some ways it never stops.
Yeah.
I mean, it can encompass the better part of a year. Mm-hmm. So with that, like you've got girls that are playing in club, but then you're going to have like what will be a school spring league, mm-hmm. and then you kind of have a little bit of downtime, but then you're rolling like mid to late July. Mm-hmm. You've got camp season,
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
So that's probably what you're working on right
now.
now.
Yeah, that's what we're lining out. Is we're restructuring some of our camps and to get a little bit more bang for your buck on camps, not just skills. We're going to do, like I said, talk about improving as an individual. We'll have position camps as well. So we'll have a libero camp and a setter hitter camp that we've run successfully, at whether it be at Tech or at Amarillo High, things like that. I've run enough camps every year to know how to maximize it to make the players have the best experience they can have. And so we've added a few position camps as well. So we'll have that posted pretty quick.
Love it. And Volleyball LCP, that's the Twitter handle. If you're on Sports U and all that, Coach will be sending out various bits of info. This was more of a let's get to know who the guy is, and I think you're seeing right now that he's going to be a great fit here. He looks good in red and black. I know
Love
that.
it.
Yeah,
Love
that's
it.
right. That's right. And has worn red and black before.
Oh,
as a
for
player,
sure.
Coach, all those kinds of things. How cold? Before I let you get out of here, how cold was it in North Dakota the one year you worked there? I was doing my homework for this, and you'd worked at Tech as an assistant coach and all these things, and you'd done some other high school and club stuff, but you had this also as like you were an assistant coach at the University of North Dakota.
Absolutely.
And I'm thinking, that's not just like cold. That's like next level, like like you read about it kind of cold. Like how wild was that?
Well, I'll tell you really quick the whole North Dakota story. Like I said, I went up there. One of my frenemies that I'd been on the recruiting trail against for a long time at New Mexico State took the head job at North Dakota. So brought me on, associate head, recruiting coordinator, all that. He's like, hey, I know you're as qualified as me, but get up here, come do a year or two, and it'll be great. Let's kick it off right and do that. So it was their first year as a D1, and a full D1 schedule.
Okay.
So we got up there, inherited.
And you're in
Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Okay.
So think of Fargo. Oh, yeah, think of Fargo, eh? So north of that.
pretty much Canada.
So,
yeah.
yes, we were, you can go south to Fargo, or you can turn around and go north and just be in Winnipeg. So it was great. Equal distance. So we're so close up there to the border that it was worth going into Winnipeg to pop around and see what was going on.
Okay.
So it was good. But went up there, outstanding season, right? 22-6, undefeated at home, win the conference in our first year as a D1. Fantastic year. I'd come back, we're in like Seattle, or we're in New Jersey, we're in Houston, whatever it is, and I'd come back, walk in the door, and Aaron would just hand me 3 infants and just vanish for like the rest of the evening. Like, these are yours, good wins, don't talk to me. But yeah, the cold is what got us. So Aaron and the kids moved back pretty quick, like as soon as the season was over, and I helped finish up the recruiting and do all that, and then had an offer to go to Louisiana Monroe, turned that down, came back here. So.
Okay.
Got into the high school side of things. So that's how that happened. But the cold, dude, I can't even tell you. The PG version, like, your nose hairs would freeze. Like, I can't exaggerate that. And like, you would walk outside and you're like, that I can distinctly feel that my nose hairs are frozen. Like, it is not okay. I can't believe this is happening. And the snow that would stay there, we'll get snow here, we'll get snow in Amarillo, but it's gone. It lasts a weekend, and up there it snows and it just piles up for 8 months, and they kind of snow plow it off to the side of the road, and the cops sit behind it and use it as a speed trap. It's great, but yeah, it was wildly too cold for us Texans.
I mean, yeah, it's that is. I was about to say, I'm sure they can't handle the 100-degree month of June and July that we have either. But some of that cold, that's just like, I mean, next level cold.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
For sure.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yes, stuff doesn't work. Your car doesn't work. All that kind of stuff. Well, we will do this many times.
Yeah, of course.
Coming up, and thrilled that you're here. Happy for your family. This is going to be a great fit for all involved, and you got a bunch of eager kids over there that I know are looking forward to being coached by you.
Absolutely. It's going to be great. They've been fantastic so far. Already got a couple handshakes with 2 of them, so
very good.
not giving up who yet, because I got to get all my varsity kids will get one. And
is this
going.
like special handshakes?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
totally individualized.
That's what
totally individualized
gotcha.
per kid. Yeah, for sure.
Very good,
for sure.
Very good. And that's like keeps them on their toes from the memory
Hey,
standpoint.
they got to know. They got to know. Like, they see me in the hallway. Like, they got to hit it.
You're dealing with a doctor here.
Hey, we're not messing around.
That's right. Well, man, Coach, I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay, so that's going to wrap this one up for Colton Coons, for Dr. Mike Moffitt, Coach Mike Moffitt, and for Chris Level. This has been another edition of Pirate Talk.